married life began. One night about 3:30, while out upon a spree, a motor knocked him down and out and nearly broke his knee. The chauffeur raised Mac's head, why said this man is dead? But when he said we'll take him home, McCann jumped up and said, don't take me home. Please don't take me home. Tell me what did I do to you? Have a little pity, I'm a poor married man. The Seaside road. I'm with you in anything you do, but don't take me home. McCann became so tall that he ran off to the wall. That war was like vacation time after all he'd fought before. He always led the brave, but he was shot one day. His comrades saw he couldn't walk, so they carried him away. Upon his cot he fell. The doctor said, well, we'll send this man home to his wife. Then Mac began to yell, please don't take me home. Don't take me home. Tell me what did I do to you? Oh, have a little pity, I'm a poor married man. Don't Seaside road. I'm with you in anything you do, but don't take me home.
My daddy was a ragtime trombone player. My mammy was a ragtime cabareter. They met one day at a tango tea. There was a syncopated wedding, and then came me. Folks think the way I walk is a fad, but it's just a birthday present from my mammy and dad. 'Cause I'm a jazz baby. I wanna be jazzing all the time. There's something in the tone of a saxophone that makes me do a little wiggle on my own. 'Cause I'm a jazz baby, full of jazz harmony. You know that walk the dog and ball the jack that calls all the talk? Well, that's just a copy of the way I naturally walk. 'Cause I'm a jazz baby, little jazz baby, that's me. Rock to sleep while a cradle went to and fro to the tune of the sickle toe. Ever since I started in the grow, I love to hear the music play and see my dear old mammy playing jazz. Jazz, that's all I ever knew all day long. Ooh, I never would get through. Jazz, jazz, that's all I wanna do. Play me a little jazz, 'cause I'm a jazz baby. Wanna be jazzing all the time. There's something in the tone of a saxophone that makes me do a little wiggle on my own. 'Cause I'm a jazz baby, full of jazz harmony. You know that walk the dog and ball the jack that calls all the talk? Folks, that's just a copy of the way I naturally walk. 'Cause I'm a jazz baby, little jazz baby, that's me. It was down in Tennessee that the jazzy melody originated, then waited for popularity. Now in every cabaret, it's the only thing they play. I love to hear it, must be near it. That's why I say, take me to that land of jazz. Let me hear the kind of blues Memphis has. I wanna step to a tune that's full of ginger and pep. Pick 'em up and lay 'em down. Learn to do the razzmatazz. And let me give you a warning, we won't get home until morning. Everybody's full of jazz, oh, in the loving land of jazz. There is music in each breeze, even trombones grow on trees. Hear 'em moaning and groaning, their tuneful harmony. Every cotton planter's son, when he meets his loving hun, is simply pestered and requested to join the fun. Oh, take me to that land of jazz. Let me hear the kind of blues Memphis has. I wanna step to a tune that's full of ginger and pep. Pick 'em up Very soon they play all out of tune, and I never heard such music played before. You and no one else I know has crazy harmony, lazy melody, and they call it jazz. Say what you will, you can't keep still while they're playing. You can't resist, you softly twist while you're swaying. Hear that trombone with that peculiar moaning, that saxophone with that peculiar droning. They're playing songs. Just hear that drum. Don't you think that music's right? Something they do I never knew, just to make me feel oh so good that I can throw myself away. Give me the jazz when they play that razzmatazz. I'm gone when I hear that jazz band play. Say what you will, you can't keep still while they're playing. You can't resist, you got to twist while you're swaying. Hear that trombone with that peculiar moaning, that saxophone with that peculiar droning. They're playing songs. Just hear that drum, don't you think that music's right? Something they do I never knew, just to make me feel oh so good that I can throw myself away. Give me the jazz when they play that razzmatazz. I'm gone when I hear that jazz band play.
say. I believe they're right because last night I heard peculiar music play. In dreams it seems it took me back 2,000 years ago, which only goes to prove that Egyptians were not slow. Cleopatra had a jazz band in her castle on the Nile. Every night she gave a jazz dance in a queer Egyptian style. She won Mark Anthony with her syncopated harmony, and as they played, she swayed. She knew she had him all the while in the shadow of the pyramids, neath the old Egyptian moon. A sphinx was looking on and said there'll be a wedding soon. But the real historic scandal was that Cleo lost her sandal as she danced to the strains of that Egyptian jazz band tune. Egypt got the dancing craze, so the wise men say. They heard that music play, the natives all began to dance and sway. Caesar came from Rome to learn to dance the foxtrot and one step. And when he heard those jazzers play, he sure was full of pep. Cleopatra had a jazz band in her castle on the Nile. Every night she gave a jazz dance in a queer Egyptian style. She won Mark Anthony with her syncopated harmony, and as they played, she swayed. She knew she had him all the while in the shadow of the pyramids, neath the old Egyptian moon. A sphinx was looking on and said there'll be a wedding soon. Brutus stabbed poor Julius Caesar just because he tried to please her as she danced to the strains of that Egyptian jazz band tune.
remember when I used to say, oh my honey, we would go and listen every day to the leader man, the ragged Peter man. Alexander is the leader still, but his band is new. You love to step to it, there's lots of pep to it, it will be a treat for you. Come on in here, for Alexander's got a jazz band now. Come on in here, for Alexander sure knows how. Well, there's a moan and a groan to the old trombone. It harmonizes with the saxophone, and the hum of the drum keeps saying, rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. You mustn't lose the wicked blues, the little fellow at the piano plays. And in your ear, you're going to hear the clarinet for days and days. So if you like the Alexander brand of harmony, you better take a little tip from me. Come on in here, 'cause Alexander's got a jazz band now. Across the street from Alexander's stand, Billy Sunday, he made his money once when he was preaching to his band. They began to hear ragged music where the congregation laid their Bibles down as they left the stand. They started dragging it, and they hollered as they went. Come on in here, for Alexander's got a jazz band now. Come on in here, for Alexander sure knows how. Well, there's a moan and a groan to the old trombone. You mustn't lose the wicked blues, the little fellow at the piano play. And in your ear, you're going to hear the clarinet for days and days. So if you like the Alexander band of harmony, you better take a little tip from me. Come on in here, 'cause Alexander's got a jazz band now.
Gonna stop syncopation. How you gonna get recreation? How you gonna chase those doggone blues everybody has? Won't the night be long and weary, slower than the darned old Erie? And what are you gonna do with your dearie when there ain't no jazz? They took away your liquor, they didn't tell you why. They are going to take tobacco from you by and by. They'll have us all like angels before they get through. Feeling sad and lonely, that's why I'm asking you, what are you going to do when there ain't no jazz? How you going to get when you're feeling full of pep? If they're going to stop syncopation, how you going to get recreation? Gonna chase those doggone blues everybody has. Won't the night be long and weary, slower than the darned old Erie? Now what are you gonna do with your him hot lips, oh, he blows real red hot notes. And everybody on the floor just looks at what they say. He's got hot lips. When he plays jazz, he draws out steps like no one has. You're on your toes and shake your shoes. Boy, how he goes when he plays blues. Now watch that crowd until he's through. He can be proud. They're cuckoo. His music's rare. You must declare that boy is there with two hot lips. Went to hear him play last night, and what a crowd was there. Came from everywhere. They filled every chair. When he started in, it seemed they all were in a spell. But as he played, the people swayed and then began to yell. He's got hot lips. I'm here to say there's not a tune that he can't play. A sense of rare floats on the air, but he don't care. There's lots to spare.
boy, jump along a one oi, hear the pitter-patter of the sandal sea. And every shabby little dance they do is handle sweet. And when they roll their almond eyes, it's pigtail paradise, and sing-a-ling-a-ling-ling, yes, the song. little money. Don't delay on our way. Some cafe. We got the peppers in together place. You were wild about a dancing state. Wouldn't be without it, but if you go, you say I know. Just to hear the jazz and play. Oh, honey dear. I want to do ya. That harmony queer. When you listen to Matthews playing rhythm, everybody dancing with us. Oh, be close to your arms. I'm in love with your charm. I'm the funny dancing, I think the man. Why, a jazz band am essentially different from the generality of bands.
In what particularity?
Oh, in many ways, Mandy. Now, for instance,
No, is that what's the way?
and another is,
Is there any more, Henry?
oh, yes, and it goes something like,
Well, I must say, Henry, your explanation sounds continuously comprehensible.
and don't you like the jazz band, Mandy?
You do.
And we'll sing some more. Oh, honey dear.
Oh, honey dear.
I want to do ya. That harmony queer. When you listen to Matthews playing rhythm,
Everybody dance with them.
oh,